exciting weekend this weekend on this channel and for my project. I am super excited. We are going to be standing the last bent of this barn this weekend. And that means next week we start milling for the second floor. I start cutting timbers again down south of here about 40 miles and hauling them home. So we'll have a few videos with that out in the woods and whatnot. But so couple tips and tricks. We're gonna start putting this together. I still got some material to cut out, but it's not major. But we're gonna start putting this together, and I got a couple things right off the bat. Some tips you guys might be useful for you in your own projects. The first one that I had to learn as I went: if you have to beat the snot out of your joinery to get them together, and I mean beat the hell out of them. It's okay if you have to tap it with a commander or a block of wood against a sledgehammer, which is what I normally do. You cut your joints too tight. The problem you're going to run into if you cut your joints too tight, you could split your mortises out, and then you've lost a whole timber. So we want to avoid that. At all costs, you want to avoid wasting timbers, because timbers are expensive if you have to buy them, and they're a lot of work if you have to mill them yourself. So try to preserve your timbers as best you can. Another piece of advice I can give you is squaring up your bents before you put them up. Get that thing good and square before you drill a hole for a peg. That's how I do it. I see some framers will drill the pegs first, but I like to fit it all together, make sure it's square, and then drill my peg holes. When you drill your peg holes, you go down through the top, you let just your bit poke out a little bit, then you come up through the bottom. This final bent, I'm not going to worry too much about it because nobody's going to see it with the siding on the outside, and I've got 10-inch dunnage underneath of it, so it's kind of hard for me to get a drill on the underside of that to drill it out. I'm sure somebody has some tricks, but again guys, on this channel I'm just showing you how I do all this stuff. Doesn't mean it's 100% right, but it will get you the basic idea of what you need to do to build your own. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start putting this together. I'm going to put the center post in first, the braces for the center post. We're going to get those together. Then I'm going to square that up, and then I'm going to peg it. Generally what I do, I generally put the entire bent together first before I do any squaring or pegging. But what's different about this one being an end bent, I have to shuffle this around a little bit on the slab. I've got to put girts in it, so I want that center post, I want that all put together how it's got to be, pinned or pegged, ready to go. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys on the other end of it. Alright, so the intro, we talked about that we're going to square this center post up with the tie beam before we drill and pin it. So what I'm going to do here, I've got my tape measure. This holds off 10 inches automatically. Now I'm going to do this the 6, 8, 10 method. So Pythagorean's theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 6, 8, 10 works out. So basically the whole idea there, when you go to square this up, and you're going to use the 6, 8, 10 method, I'm going to measure down 6 feet here. I'm going to measure over 8 feet across the tie beam from the corner there, or from where the wall post goes into the tie beam. And when I measure across my diagonal from the 8-foot mark to the 6-foot mark, it should be perfectly 10 feet. It should land right on. Now that's hard to do if you're by yourself, unless you're going to use a clamp to clamp your tape measure down. So what I do is I get a straight board that's good and straight. You want it nice and straight. You don't want it sagging in the middle. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape measure, the timber frame and tape measure. It holds me off 10 inches, and I'm going to mark out 10 feet on this, bring my lines down, square them up off of this side, bring them down, and then I'll have my lines match up with my marks on the wall post or the center post in the tie beam. So here we go, we're going to do this, we're going to square it out, and then we're going to drill and pin this thing, so stay tuned. So sometimes when your name is Jim, you really make some dumbass mistakes because you get in a hurry and you just aren't paying attention. That's how most mistakes happen, right? So, nothing major on this one. Unfortunately, there's going to be a stairwell or a staircase in this corner, but I now have 3 beautiful white ash inlays into this tie beam. You know why? Because Captain Numbnuts here decided to drill the wrong side. So, not a big deal, but we all mess up, so it kind of proves that everybody is human. So, we're almost done. Almost done with her. Well, we are ready to put the next piece up. Like if you look behind me, I've got the girts in place, they're ready to go. The bent's all squared up, put together, it's all pegged, and all the pegs are on the right side now. Like I said, got some real nice white ash inlays now. But anyhow, next time out, we're going to be standing this thing. I'm going to try to do it tonight, so the lighting might be a little funky. I know you guys are used to seeing me work at night, but I finally have a day where I can do this. So we're going to try to stand it tonight. I've got to go to, my boy turns 10 today, so we got to go have birthday dinner with him. But after that, I'm going to get back to work on it. We're going to pull another late one tonight and see if we can't get this guy up in the air. I'll do the best I can with the lighting, guys. You'll have to be patient with that, because tomorrow is Sunday. So this video probably won't be out until tomorrow or the next day, but tomorrow is Sunday and I'm going to try to get the other half of this final bent up in the air. So, and I don't have much left that I have to do for that. Anyhow, you guys have a good one. I will see you on the next one.